Good morning, everybody. It's about that time, September 11th. Not the best day, but hey, we're alive, we survived. We're going to talk about that. And like I said, how to double down on your beliefs, maybe dip into a little bit about that ridiculous debate last night. I may not be on the side you think I'm on. And, whatever else is on your mind, drop a comment. Let me know who's watching. See you here in about 4 minutes. Good morning, my beautiful friends. I would say happy September 11th, but this is not necessarily the happiest day in our U.S. history. So I will just say happy Wednesday, okay? You're alive. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching, whether it's live or on the podcast or on various other platforms. Hey, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy I'm alive, and it's just another day to be grateful about things. If I'm not careful, I'm going to jerk some cables off the show here. So if you're listening on the podcast after September 11th, then I appreciate your subscriptions. And if you are watching live here on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, or LinkedIn, I say Facebook because I'm live on Facebook about 4 places. Then again, Thank you very much for watching. My name is Patrick Allman, and this is the Stop Doing Nothing Marketing Show. I say marketing, but man, we cover a lot of topics here. We cover really what's ever on your mind. I run a digital marketing agency here in Oklahoma City where we just build giant lead generation frameworks for companies that need more leads and more sales. And we do it using an amazing, amazing platform called that we have white labeled called HighLevel. We call it our Playmakers platform now with our customizations and our add-ons and our additions. And people are using it every single day. It's one of the most popular products, CRM products on the planet right now. And we're certified. We're in the certified directory. We are, we're just pretty dang good at it. I'm not gonna pull any punches. We are pretty dang good at it. If you ever want some free high level training, just hop over to our YouTube channel, and we have a whole playlist over there of some of the more advanced trainings that we have done for people when it comes when it comes to high level. And if you ever want to chat about it, just text us. Pick up the phone, text me. It's right there on the screen, 405-217-4752. If you ever want to text and talk about more leads, more ads, more sales for your business, more organization. More organization in general is what I'm a big fan of. And so that's what we do with the high level platform. Yeah, there are happier days in the history of our country, and so I'm very hesitant to ever. I like to say Happy Monday on the Monday show, Happy Wednesday on the Wednesday show, but it's not a happy day in our history. I am happy I'm alive, but I don't know where you were September 11th. I was in Chicago on a business trip with a coworker named Leah, and we were staying in a hotel by the airport. I remember this. You always remember key things in history and in your life. And I remember like I said, we were staying in a hotel, and we had just gotten off of the elevator. And so, down the most hotels, there's an elevator down the hall from the main lobby, and you have to walk through the main lobby to get to your rental car or to your Uber or to your cab. I'm not even sure there was an Uber or a cab. So knowing us, we had a car, we had a rental car. And we're walking through the lobby, and I remember the lobby had like a step or two down, and there was like a carpeted area where it was like couches and a TV and stuff, and there was a crowd of people around the TV watching what was going on. And I think we stopped and paused and glanced over the TV and said, "Wow, there's been." I think this was right around when. I think this was just the first plane that had hit. Right around when the first plane had hit, and we said, "Wow, there's a big fire in New York." Man, I hope everyone's okay. We were just very casual about it, I think, as all of us were when the first plane hit. And we walked outside the front of the hotel. I vaguely remember, again, it was to the left. So we headed to the left, which is where the sliding glass doors were, and headed out to our car. And then I went to, what did we do? Oh, so we went to work. It was an IT consulting job. We went to work, and that was still in the news. And then the second plane hit, and more information came in. And I I remember we were kind of starved for information. The place that we were working had no like public radio system or public TV system. So somehow I went down. I vaguely remember going and getting like either a radio or a small black and white TV or something. I may have gone down to like like the equivalent of like a Walgreens or a CVS, and I bought like a little. I vaguely remember buying like a little black and white TV, if I remember correctly, like one that was like a tiny screen, like a 2 or 3 inch screen. And I had that in my cubicle at the contract where we were, and I think I'm remembering this right. And then kind of a crowd gathered around that and watched what we could, which is very hard on a 3 or 4 inch black and white TV, and not much was done for the day. I was supposed to go downtown. I was in Chicago. I was supposed to go downtown to go to some meetings, and that was all canceled. All downtown meetings were canceled, and I can't remember if it was what one of the major downtown buildings was. But either way, we ended up not going down there. We all got very hyper aware of the planes coming into Chicago O'Hare, because every plane because this building was like right in the flight path, excuse me, and we just became very aware of everything aviation related. And again, not much got done that day. We kind of both stayed. The lady that I was with contractor, I think we chose to stay over that weekend and not come home. I took the rental car, or she may have gotten flown home, and I may have stayed there with a rental car. I went down to downtown Chicago to see a friend of mine because I wasn't going to try and go home that weekend. It was a thing; it was a 2 week deal, and I was going to fly home and fly back anyways. So I believe we just decided to stay there, and I went and hung out in downtown Chicago with a friend of mine named Morgan, and and then what happened? Oh, we drove around a little bit. Um, we took some downtime. I think it was either Friday or Saturday night, and I've always wanted to drive. I'm a pilot, okay, and I always wanted to drive out to the airport in downtown Chicago, Meigs Field, right? Meigs Field is huge in the aviation community because it's the base airport for one of the flight simulator games. So I think Microsoft Flight Simulator 2000. If you're a kid who's really into flying, when you fired up that game, it always started at Meigs Field, and that was like a little airport on an island off of the coast of Chicago. Not really an island so much as just kind of like an outlet. And I thought, oh, we were doing something. I think Saturday evening. I remember it was dark. We no we were we I think we had our share of the news, and we went driving around the car. I said, let's go to Meigs Field, and so we drove to Meigs Field, and it's could have been very very bad. So we drove over to Meigs Field, and we pull up, and I distinctly remember you kind of come around this curve, and you're going to go down the road to get into Meigs Field, and like all these flashlights shone on us, and there was cop cars all over the place. So what happened is there was a blockade to get into Meigs Field, and it was all police cars. And they, obviously everyone was on very, very heightened alert. And someone came up to the window and asked me, it's like, he was like, what do you need? Where are you going? I'm like, I got stupid really fast. And I said, I'm lost. How do I turn around and get back to the main road, whatever that main road is along the Chicago, uh, hey, Roy, hey, bald guy marketing. I know that bald guy marketing. Um, I basically claimed stupidity really fast, and I basically said we were lost and got turned around, and and he gave us directions to turn around. Was very civil about the whole thing. Nothing happened. Um, I realized later that I didn't have my driver's license on me. So if I had caused like a traffic violation, or if they wanted to stop and frisk me, or if they were, if they were in crazy cop mode where they wanted to stop and frisk everybody and they would have pulled us out of the car, I had no ID on me. So look at me. Imagine what would happen September 11th. Okay, imagine the kind of people that and their general pigmentation on September 11th, and then imagine me pulling up in a car in the dark as a police officer sees me, pulls up. I have no ID. I'm driving around with another friend of color, and we are trying to get to an airport. Okay. You imagine how bad that could have gone. Okay. Fortunately, it didn't. Like I said, sometimes it's okay in life to claim stupidity and being dumb, and I did that really fast. We turned around and got the heck out of there ASAP. Never got to go see Meigs Field, unfortunately, and that fucked up mayor tore it up with a bulldozer. The mayor of Chicago wanted to use that field for a park and went out in the middle of the night several years later and just tore up the runway on purpose with a bulldozer, completely against any FAA regulations. So that's my September 11th story. Keith, I believe that's you, right? Bald Guy Marketing, if I'm not mistaken. Where were you, or was that where you were, Roy, Washington, south of Tacoma? Anybody else that's watching, where were you on September 11th? Fortunately, I have to say I was happy that I did get to visit the World Trade Centers at some point in time in my past. I have a picture someplace in my collection of me on top of one of the World Trade Centers. Went out to, I used to go to New Jersey on a regular basis for business trips and to do disaster recovery for IBM when I worked for IBM. And it was very hard. It was usually pretty hard trips. We worked like 24 plus hours straight, but every now and then afterwards we would take a break, maybe hop over to New York, do some sightseeing before we came back home. And some coworkers and I went up to the top of I can't remember which World Trade Center. Went up to the top of one of them at one point. and took a picture. And I haven't been able to find that picture. And I really wish I could. Yeah, very pivotal day in history. There's some different memorials going on. I'm sure New York is very solemn about what's going on. There's probably a big ceremony there, and I'll catch it later. As you know, if you watched Monday's show here in Oklahoma City, we had a stair climb, September memorial stair climb. Um, Saturday, where firefighters geared up and paramedics and cops all geared up and climbed 110 stories in one of the skyscrapers here in downtown Oklahoma City. And uh, here we go. I was a company commander. Ooh, man, you're not kidding around, are you? I was a company commander at what was then Fort Rucker, Alabama, U.S. Army Aviation School. So you were something. You were right around the world of aviation. Also, you know that everyone took this very seriously. All of a sudden, if you had an interest in aviation at all, people looked at you as somewhat of a criminal. It was kind of weird. I got a little apprehensive there for a while, like reading my aviation books on an airplane, or carrying around a GPS in my pocket, or playing my flight simulators on my laptop. It became a little bit of a sensitive time for sure. But hey, hopefully we have matured and we're past that, and we did a lot of crazy. We've done a lot of crazy shit since then, and hey, all we have to worry about now is a crazy guy saying that immigrants are coming and eating your pets. That's the worst thing that's happened this week, I think. Yes, I am referring to the debate last night. Little bit of a little bit of a yeah, security went from not very important to lockdown. I can imagine. I was stationed at Offutt Air Force Base during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and security was tightened up a little bit there when we went to war there. But at this point in time, which would have been 2001, right? I was long out of the military, so I couldn't imagine, how security would be locked out of the military installation. But yeah, I like that. Went from very important to lockdown. Like, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, really quickly, let's talk about a little bit about the debate last night, which is going to be a good segue into my main topic, which is how to double down on your beliefs. Um, yeah, it this is me doubling down on my beliefs. Okay, I don't. I have never really advocated for or against any particular political party. I was registered as independent at one point because I actually thought that was independent. The first time I registered, I flipped a coin in line at what would be the Oklahoma equivalent of the Department of Motor Vehicles, because I didn't know. I had done no research whatsoever, and that's at the time where you vote, where you registered to vote. And I flipped a coin, and it came up. I can't remember if it came up heads or tails, but whatever it was. I believe it was Democrat is what I chose. That's how I chose my political party, because I believe then, and I still believe right now, it really doesn't matter. You know what? I take that back. It matters because it's what kind of marketing are you going to get? What kind of mailers are you going to get? How people are going to judge you at parties. That's when your political party matters. And by matters, I say that loosely in air quotes. That's for air quotes for those of you listening on the podcast later. But since then, I've come to believe, and that's 100%. I will go all in on this: is that your political party doesn't really matter, because there is no such thing as somebody who has a hardcore belief system that matches somebody else's belief system. Okay, there's thousands, if not millions, of beliefs that we can have. And I will never agree with my neighbor on 100% of everything. So lumping us all into one giant political party is kind of ridiculous. And then lumping, my state or my city into a political party is ridiculous. And thinking we all think and vote and feel the same way about a topic is absolutely ridiculous. But that's what we've made politics. And so I will tell you 100%, I won't tell you who I'm voting for, but I will tell you I will not vote for someone convicted of sexual assault, or someone convicted of multiple felonies, or somebody with a bunch of pending court cases, okay? That's me putting a stake in the ground, telling you my political beliefs. Now, what's going to happen as a result of this? What happens when you double down on your beliefs, okay? You lose, in my world, you lose viewers, okay? You lose followers, you lose subscribers, you lose email subscribers, okay? In my world of business, when you publicly state something you believe hardcore, it hurts your business, okay? It's hurt my business in the past, will probably hurt some in the future, but that's the price you pay. So if you are the kind of person, and let's get into our main topic today, which is how to double down on your beliefs. If you're the kind of person who will double down on something that you believe, it will impact you financially. It'll impact you professionally, and it will impact you personally, okay? You'll pull in some friends closer, and you will push some friends further away. And same goes true for, for your business friends, is you will 100% lose business. You'll be at business conferences and people will shun you and they'll avoid you based on maybe your political beliefs or other kind of beliefs out there. My recent story of belief is kind of doubling down on the company name and the beliefs and everything I put out there. When I first started my company, well, first of all, not when I first started it, maybe when I first started, I can't remember. I came up with the name Focus Consulting because to me, it was, all about focus. And that's my domain name, allaboutfocus.com. That's one of my domain names. And it was about getting people to focus on technology. I had a very kind of loose definition of why I chose that at the time, but I chose that, got that registered as a corporation here in Oklahoma. I got a tax ID, got everything for that. And then sometime right around there, though, I really liked the phrase "stop doing nothing." Okay, it was whenever I've kind of put together anything that's uplifting or motivational, it's mainly been to help myself. Honestly, it's been selfish, 100% to remind and help myself. So I've been a big firm believer in action. Action solves a lot of things, especially imperfect action. And even with my plethora of mistakes in the world, I still believe that stumbling forward is kind of the best way to grow. And so right around that same time, a focus, or maybe somewhere after that, I registered the same domain name, stopdoingnothing.com. So I was willing to I thought it was important for me, if I was going to do anything with that, to have the domain name. And from there, my beliefs and the depth at which I'm willing to dive into that has grown over time, especially probably in the last 6 to 12 months. My company name I put out now, I just call it Stop Doing Nothing Media. So it matches, everything I say. I bought the domain name stopdoingnothing.media. Everything in my marketing, I use that logo and that phrase. There's another phrase I use called playmakers, where I believe in the personal and professional world, a playmaker is somebody who makes moves, who gets things done. So playmaker, stop doing nothing, done is better than perfect. All those things to me kind of go in line together, and I've doubled down on that recently. Now, that is not really a big thing to double down on, to lose business on. When you start talking about things like politics and religion, those are the things that will actually lose business, or your belief system. Those are the things that will actually cause you to lose business. So before you choose to double down on something, make sure that you have the ability to sacrifice. Okay. And here's a good example. Let's say you're pulling in 100 grand a month. Okay. And you just know in the back of your head that if you have a hardcore, let's say half of your business is hardcore conservative, Republican people. Okay. I'm just making up stuff here at this point. And let's say that if you come out like on your live stream or something, and you say, oh, you know what, I 100% believe that the candidate that you're putting forward for president is full of shit, which he is, by the way, full of shit. There's a chance that you're going to lose 50% of your business. So your cool $100,000 a month revenue stream might drop in half. That's a serious consideration to think about before before you dive in that deep, and before you commit to saying that kind of thing. You cannot take it lightly, in the least. So you have to be willing to go out there on a limb, to watch that right there. You also have to be willing to start To me, to doubling down, not just to saying you believe something, but doubling down your beliefs means you have to start weaving it into everything you do and say. Okay. A while back, I took some time for the phrase stop doing nothing. And in a Google Doc, I started writing out exactly what does that mean? I mean, it's a cute cliche phrase, yay, stop doing nothing. But what does it actually mean? And so I started writing up, in the world of finance, what does stop doing nothing mean? In the world of marketing, and all the worlds of the things that I teach and that people pay me for consulting on, what does stop doing nothing mean? And so I have a Google Doc of about 5 or 6 high level points that say this is what it means to stop doing nothing. With your finances, A, B, C, D. With your media, it means A, B, C, D. With your marketing, with the kind of person you're going to be. So I wrote that up because I didn't want it to just be a cute 3-word cliche, which is a very cute 3-word cliche, by the way. I didn't want it to be just that. I wanted it to have a framework and have it and mean something. And this is something I'm never going to be done working on. It's something that's going to evolve and evolve and evolve as I dive deeper, as I double down on my beliefs. Okay. So I did that. I defined what does stop doing nothing mean. So when I'm talking to somebody, and I don't have it in front of me, sorry. So when I'm talking to somebody, I can say, when someone says, what does that mean? I'm like, okay, it means A, B, C, D. Now, implicitly, this will mean that the person I'm talking to, this is helping me kind of filter them out and self-select. Okay. For those of you in marketing, you know that you want to always define your ideal customer avatar, right? The kind of person you want to work with, and they have to match A, B, and C. But one of the ways you can do that is by quantifiably documenting your beliefs and making sure that when you are onboarding clients or when you're doing your marketing or when you're doing your marketing materials, okay, your videos, your audios, your printed copy, making sure that everything in those is in line with your beliefs. It'll help you basically like self-select, self-filter. For example, let's say there's a marketing belief that I think blogging is absolutely dead. Okay, that would be one out there. Blogging is dead. No one blogs anymore. Okay. Again, just some random stuff I'm picking, for example. And I put that in my ad videos, and I put that in my ad copy, and I put that on my landing page. Okay. If I go through all of that, then I'm going to attract the kind of people that believe the same thing I believe and know that, I don't advocate blogging because it's a dead art form. I'm not saying blogging is a dead art form. Again, this is just an example out there. But once you define your beliefs like that and you start using them, especially as an entrepreneur, this is probably more so for an entrepreneur. As someone who's W-2 under someone else, you cannot do that. And there's reasons why. I'll talk about those here. But if you're somebody who has the freedom of thought and the freedom of belief as an entrepreneur to do and say what you want, because we all have that freedom, okay? In this country, we all have the freedom to do and say what we want and without getting killed for it, okay? Will there be repercussions? Yes. But don't think that a repercussion doesn't mean you can't do it. There will just be repercussions, okay? And there's repercussions every place. But the nice part is we won't get beheaded for it, okay? That's the beauty of living in the country that I live in. For the people that are watching internationally or maybe are in situations, listening to the podcast later, who are in that situation. There are obviously some countries where you cannot come out and be against the leader. Here in my country, I can say, fuck the president, okay, and not get beheaded. By the way, if I get beheaded in an hour, please make sure that somebody uses this video as evidence in my case to make sure that whoever does it, gets prosecuted. But yeah, I can say, fuck the president, fuck the senator, fuck the mayor, and not get beheaded. There are definitely some countries in the world where you cannot say stuff like that. So be prepared to have repercussions for your beliefs, okay? I talked a little bit earlier about defining a framework for your belief system. Defining your beliefs and doubling down your beliefs also helps you define, again, which clients you want to work with, okay? Naming your products after your beliefs, okay? This, again, is something I have done recently. I like to use the phrase "stop doing nothing." Stop doing nothing media is my company, and I like to call the people that work with me playmakers. Okay, I've liked that phrase. I like the phrase playmakers for a long time, and then there was an HBO. Remember the HBO football drama called Playmakers a while back? It has a really good theme song. That theme song is actually on my gym playlist. I really liked that. Cool. Thanks. Thanks. I've got some people who have my evidence here on camera. Thanks, Keith. Um, or was I going? Oh, yeah, I've always liked the phrase playmakers. And so now I define people who work with us, my ideal customer avatars, I define them and I call them playmakers. I've also gone through and inside of our system, inside of our CRM, we have different plans and I call them playmakers. Okay. I call them these different playmakers plans. And I've even incorporated, and this is a true story, I've even incorporated my love of aviation. So I'm going to pull this up while I'm talking to you. You can't see it on screen, but I just want to make sure I have the correct information in front of me. I've named all of my Playmakers plans. You can work with me, things having to do with aviation or acceleration or flying. Okay. So if I go over here and see the name of my plans, I have approach. So there's a Playmakers approach plan you can buy in and to work with us. Okay. I've got Playmakers accelerate, accelerating down a runway. I've got my business philosophy and my aviation built in there. I've got Playmakers Ascension, climbing up, right? So you've got approach, accelerate, climbing up. I've got, goodness gracious, I had some other ones in here too. But those are the three. Oh, I think I have over here in my list, to see if I can find it. I've got Playmakers Aim is another program, as you know, like aiming for a landing point. And then let me see, there was one other one that I came up with recently. And this just took some thinking time. So Playmakers Aim, Playmakers Altitude, Playmakers Accelerate. And let me see what else is there. Playmakers Ascension. So those are the primary plans people can buy into. So I've got the Playmakers incorporated in there, and then I've got my aviation theme incorporated in there because I really believe in both of those in both of those worlds, you know, my world of aviation and my world of business and playmakers, and stop doing nothing. So let's see what other notes that I have here. And by the way, if you've done this, please drop a comment, whether you're watching on YouTube. So we're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I already said YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. If you've put a comment here and I can't read it, can you do me a favor and hop over to YouTube or Facebook or Instagram and leave the comment there also? There are some platforms, like I think Twitch and maybe like some of the Facebook pages, where I may not get the comments, but I'm getting all the YouTube comments, and I've got the Instagram live up here. I'm actually kind of cool. Someone just joined, who I'm a fan of, Jack Elliott in Oklahoma City, from Jack and Ron back in the day. When I did the Instagram live, I just saw that Jack joined. That was kind of cool. So he was watching. He may still be watching, but he was watching there for a little bit. These are two radio DJs that used to be on the local radio a while back, and they now have a podcast. But I'm a big fan of both of them, Jack and Ron. I'm a big Jack and Ron fan. Okay, so what else? So I talked about naming your products after beliefs, buying a web domain that matches your beliefs. Okay, that's something else you can do, is choose to like rename your business, which I've done recently. And my next step to this is probably going to go down to the Secretary of State and register a new business name, get maybe a new tax ID. My accountant's going to love that. Get a new tax ID and just make sure I go all in on that. Now, what I can do to make my life a little bit easier is as opposed to going that route, I can just go down to the state and file a $25 DBA, so I can focus. I can do focus consulting, which is my registered corporation DBA. Stop doing nothing media. That may make my life and job easier. I don't know. We'll see about that. But again, I'm just kind of going all in on this phrase now for several years. But for 10 plus years, I've kind of told people, well, I have this brand for this, and I have this brand for this, and it just hasn't really been congruent at all. Another big thing you can do to go all in on your message, or all in on your belief system, is just surround yourself with your message. Okay, put it as your backdrop on your laptop. I've got two relatively large screens here. Put it as your backdrop there. Put it on your bracelets. Put it on little signs around you. Put it on your car window. Put it on stickers. I have bought all these things and given them out. As a matter of fact, I have to say, one of the happiest moments in the past couple of years is I got to speak at a local school during Black History Month. Okay. And at the time, I had a little bit of abundance of swag. I had stickers, I had bracelets, I had what else? Oh, I had stickers, bracelets, and T-shirts. That's what I had. Okay, and I decided, it was the stuff I normally sell, and if anybody wants that stuff, let me know. But I took a box of what I had, some spares and whatnot, in with me, along with my camera to videotape the whole event to this school. So they had four speakers. They had four black gentlemen speakers, and I was one of them. And everyone else just kind of walked in, sat down, and was going to give their spiel. Here I come in with like a box of swag and like my camera go bag with my mics and everything and my tripod, and I come to play. I don't come to fuck around. I come to play if I'm gonna do a speaking gig. And so I did. I recorded all the speakers, including myself, and then towards the end of my presentation, I said, if you kids, want any of this stuff, I'll be down here. I'm not going to leave until I talk to everybody, I shake everybody's hand, and I give away all my stuff. And I gave away almost everything. I think I ran out of bracelets. I gave away T-shirts. I gave away stickers, and that was cool. Okay, that was cool level number one. Cool level number two was um, I got a picture. I got pictures from one of the teachers, the teacher that brought me in to speak there. I got pictures from her later of "Stop Doing Nothing" stickers on the outside of lockers and kids walking around with "Stop Doing Nothing" T-shirts on. Okay, that really did fill my heart and made me very happy. And hopefully, what I said on Black History Month impacted some of those students. As a matter of fact, I even think that the kid that was wearing the "Stop Doing Nothing" T-shirt might have been a Caucasian girl, which kind of, for some reason, to me, made it a little bit extra special. Which means she probably heard what I had to say and shared that message. But I'm starting to do that now, even with my business presentations. I'm starting to do the concept of stop doing nothing in playmakers when I sell our CRM setups. When I talk about my business philosophies, I'm incorporating those as much as I possibly can. And again, if you've done something like this, please make sure you leave me a comment. Even if the comment's after the live show, please make sure you share with me kind of how you weave your personal beliefs into your business, because that's mainly what we're talking about here. Wearing your message is another one. For those of you watching on video, you can obviously see I am wearing my message. This was over here. This was a very nice, high quality shirt made by a buddy of mine who does local screen printing and embroidery. And if you ever need some work done, text me, let me know. I will get you in contact with him. His name is Henry Israel out in Yukon. Does amazing, amazing work. But this was my first run of Stop Doing Nothing shirts. This is embroidered right here and has the message in giant letters on the back. And I have some others that I get made now via drop shipping. And they even have a store at store.stopdoingnothing.com where you can buy some of the stuff. And normally I am wearing a bracelet, but I do not have any bracelets here on me. My iPods, my last set of iPods, the ones that I just washed recently, have, the Stop Doing Nothing name on them also right there. So I'm basically wearing my heart on my sleeve kind of thing when it comes to the phrase "stop doing nothing" and the "stop doing nothing" message. Um, but to tell you the truth, one of the reasons I inspired this topic is because someone texted me yesterday that they were wearing a "Stop Doing Nothing" T-shirt, and they weren't just wearing it because they liked the design of it. It was just a message they like to keep in front of themselves, and that's one of the things that kind of inspired the topic of this show is the phrase "stop doing nothing," or the phrase "done is better than perfect," or the phrase action is the great thing that escapes most people, can be something that I feel can just remind us when we're kind of down in the dumps and we don't know what to do and we're afraid to make decisions. These are phrases that can kind of nudge us along. If you're indecisive, for example, about what CRM to use, or whether or not to hire a particular marketing firm, and you've done all your technical analysis, and you've basically come up and said, well, you know what, I've got a lot of really good choices here. How do I choose? And that's when you call a friend, or that's when you look for non-quantifiable reasons to hire or to not hire someone. But sometimes you have a bunch of equal choices, and sometimes the best thing you can do is just flip a coin and pick one, aka take imperfect action, or say it with me, everybody, stop doing nothing. Okay. So I use this, like I said, in my marketing now. I use it in my marketing materials, in my videos. I use the phrase playmakers. I've got, stop doing nothing gear you can wear. I've got, hundreds. I used to have thousands. I now have hundreds of bracelets before I do my next batch order that you can wear. And the bracelets I like because it's just a small thing outside of getting a stop doing nothing tattoo, which I've really thought of because there was another gentleman another public speaker who I'm a fan of, who has a really good message too. I can't think of his name right now, but he went, oh, unmarketing. Who's the unmarketing guy? I can't think of his name. We've met a few times. We're kind of casual buddies. But the unmarketing guy, he actually had unmarketing tattooed. Ooh, I have a bump right there. What's up with that? He actually had unmarketing tattooed on his arm right here. I think it was on his right arm right here. And so he believes in that message so much that, number one, when he's speaking, he has short sleeves on. You can see the message right there. But if you're gonna have something put under your skin and ink, you must believe it pretty hard. So the unmarketing guy, my unmarketing buddy, has basically gone all in on his unmarketing message. Actually, I'm gonna look that up now while we're talking to see who that is. Let me see, who is the unmarketing guy. Scott Stratton. Yeah, Scott Stratton. I haven't talked with Scott Stratton in a while, but he and I are online buddies. And I have met Scott and Allison in person on multiple occasions. We've even spoken at the same events. He's a member of NSA. He presented at NSA once, and then a couple of weeks later, we hung out in New York. It was kind of funny. We had a good conversation on the escalator. And he's always a great presenter. I'll have to tag Scott at some point in time. Let him know I was talking about him. But he's just a guy who has a really good belief system. And again, he's not someone who I have always believed with. I've expressed my displeasure with Scott online on different occasions. But still a great guy with a great message and someone who has kind of gone, not kind of, who has definitely 100% got all in on his message. And my last note here is if you have a message that you really believe in and you really are going to go all in on, it's going to help you filter out the people you hang out with. We know right now online, our political topics are very divisive and very, very biased. I right now probably have some comments waiting for me on Facebook from people who are unhappy with some comments I've made that don't quite go in line with their belief system. You know what? Oh well, SSDD, deal with it. My job after this live is to get my head down and make my life better for my clients. So be willing to, really commit to your belief system in every single thing, in what you wear, maybe in the tattoos on your arm, in your marketing, in your messaging, in your conversations with your friends and family. Be willing to do that. And if you're in a position to, be willing to lose friends and family over it, and sometimes money, and sometimes a job. I saw something the other day where I saw an HR post the other day where somebody showed an email they received, and the email was from a possible recruit. And can't I don't know if I'm not going to say I'm agreeing with this. This is just an example, okay? This was an email from a recruit that they were trying to hire, and the recruit replied back to, "I was really interested," said something along these lines. "I was really interested in this job until I saw you replied back with pronouns in your signature." And the person said, "I do not feel like playing the pronoun game or the imaginary game, so please withdraw my name for consideration when it comes to this job." So even before getting hired, the person who put that out there had, established their beliefs, and they were willing to stand on them, or as they say, die on that hill. They were willing to die on that hill, and they were even willing to sacrifice getting a job because they just didn't believe in what they called, the pronoun game. Because I guess the recruiter had sent them some information or made a job offer, and the recruiter had, probably she/her/they in their email signature. And as whether or not you want to whether or not you want to agree with a person that does that, you have to give them respect, and you have to, applaud somebody who's willing to sacrifice a job or sacrifice money for their belief systems. Okay, that to me is just I'm not going to say that's the ultimate sacrifice, but that's a pretty big sacrifice to give up money. Excuse me, to give up money for your belief system. I'm not sure if I've ever done that. I've probably given up prospects, but I don't know if I've ever actually given up money. But who knows? It's 9:46 in the morning. In the next hour or so, maybe I'll lose a client or two due to my belief system. Oh well, que sera. It'll hurt, but in the long term, it'll be a very good thing for me. So that is what I have to talk about today. A really quick reminder: we run a digital marketing agency here in Oklahoma City, and if your business is disorganized, if you've got sticky notes and phone numbers and email addresses all over the place in your iPhone, in notepad files, like I said, in sticky notes on the side, if you have to put notes in your calendar about when to follow up with prospects, if you have to, kind of remember how to talk to someone or what they're interested in buying based on notes in your phone, you need to call us, man. You need to call us. The day is still young. Very good point. Very good point, Keith. The day is still young. All kinds of stuff can go wrong. You need to call us. We are a company that will get you organized and get you automated. One of my favorite things to do is marketing automation to get people organized. We have a way we go in and we kind of analyze your business and figure out which parts can we automate to help you scale your business without necessarily scaling your expenses. I'm working with a couple of companies right now who are building sales teams. Matter of fact, I think I have three new clients who are building sales teams. And what we are doing is we are automating the contract signing process. We are automating the order process. We are automating the onboarding process. So once the salesman has closed the deal, they take an action that we've pre-built for them, and from that point on, contract signing is automatic. They get the right kind of contract based on what they're buying. And then the order process is automatic, and the onboarding process is automatic. What this allows you to do as a business owner is to scale up a sales team, without necessarily scaling up your expenses. So let's say one of the reasons you haven't grown your business is because there's just so much support on the back end when you do hire or when you do get a new client for your business. We are the kind of company that can solve that for you. Automate contract signing. We can help you get better Google reviews, more Google reviews. If you're the kind of company that relies on Google for your business and you don't have 5-star reviews, or you don't have enough 5-star reviews, you definitely need to talk to us. If you're the kind of company that deals with millennials or Gen Xers who love to text, you need to call us. We do so much business via SMS marketing. I mean, we get new business inquiries. Matter of fact, I'm going to check right now while I'm talking to see if we've received any new business inquiries. We get new business inquiries all the time via SMS. There are times where I've closed entire contracts without talking to somebody, without getting on a Zoom call, all via SMS. We go back and forth to see if we're a good fit. I ask them if they want a meeting. They're like, no, I'm good without a meeting. I trust you. I've watched your live streams. They trust me already. And then we send them contracts to sign via SMS, and we send them order forms to order stuff via SMS. Never got on Zoom with them, never got on the phone with them, never exchanged an email with them. If you want that in your business, let me know. We can do that. And even though I'm a late adopter, I'm really starting to be a big fan of AI, especially when it comes to booking appointments. Right now, if you were to go to my website and you'd say, hey, I want to talk to someone about SEO, a automatic AI bot would come back and say, hey, yeah, we handle SEO. What's a good date and time to talk? It would, and if you kind of went back and forth with the AI, it would figure out a day and time on my calendar and put an appointment on there for both of us to talk. And that would happen while I'm live streaming. So I'm not the kind of guy who's afraid of AI. The AI is going to take over the world. I like the fact that we can use automation and we can use AI to help replicate ourselves and help get some of the mundane stuff out of the way. Because if you ever tried to get on the phone with somebody, the people who have a lot of appointments, I'm talking like electricians, plumbers, salon owners, things like that. If you've ever tried to get on the phone with somebody or get an appointment set up, it can be anywhere between 5 and 10 text messages back and forth. But what happens when somebody bizarrely reaches out at 2 o'clock in the morning and wants to do this and you are not awake and you've put your personal cell number on your website, which you should definitely not do. Well, that person's going to have to wait for you to wake up to start negotiating that, and they may have already booked an appointment with somebody else at that point in time. In our case, oh my goodness gracious, excuse me. In our case, um, when when someone comes to our website at 2 o'clock in the morning and they want to book an appointment for 2 days down and pick the date and time, our AI has the entire conversation with them like they're human and gets that appointment booked. It even suggests stuff like if someone says, I want to talk to Patrick in 2 days. The AI will come back and say, oh, it looks like Patrick has 9, 11, and 1 o'clock available on Friday, September 13th. Is that, which one do you want? The person says 11, please. The person says, okay, just to confirm, you want to talk to Patrick on September 13th at 11 a.m. And they say yes. And it'll get their name, their email address. Already got their phone number, don't need it. And then it'll book the appointment. This has happened to me multiple times this week. And I'm just such a huge advocate of it. So if you're somebody who wants something like this for your business, also, please, please let us know. You can text anything to the number that appears on the screen, 405 217 4752. That will come right to me or someone who works for me, and we will get right back to you. But you know what? I want to go, ooh, look at this. I really got an inbound call right now. That's kind of cool. Last thing I'll say as I see this inbound call, the last thing I'll say is that please make sure you are not using your personal cell number for business, okay? Get a business number, which we can help you with. You can then use that business number for in and outbound texting into your CRM, and you can use that for in and outbound business calls, okay? But try to stop using your cell number for business, okay? Other than that, as always, please subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on the podcast. I repurpose this content into a YouTube podcast. I'm going to hop off here and help some clients do bigger and better things, help turn them into playmakers, wink, 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 wink. And if you want some help, let me know. I will turn you into a playmaker also. But as always, for those of you that tune in live, Keith, I know you're there. Thank you very, very much for watching the show. We will be back here live Friday at 9 a.m. U.S. Central. Today was a little bit of a light day on topics, but I really did like the topic of doubling down on your belief systems, and hopefully I gave you some ideas of how you could do that. But until Friday, let's have a great day, and let's make some money. And I will talk to you guys on Friday. Okay, have a good day.